The main topic of this video is to show anti-flat earthers that Newtonian gravity and general relativity are damn near polar opposites. I'm going to try and teach you guys your own model and get you to confront it head on instead of gaslighting us with mathematics, acting like the two are just completely compatible. But before I do that, I wanted to forward with flat earthers because we have three camps. I'm not here to say what's right or who's wrong, but I am here to try and get everybody to take a step back because each camp is certain that they're right and that the other camps are wrong. And the good news is they all fare very well against the globe. They all mush the globe in debate, but we need to step back and listen to each other's debates against the globe and try and narrow this down. But we need to have open dialogue. Like a damn civil war, depending on where you go. Like, Austin, congratulations on Aurora. But you and Zach are dielectric fuckers. You can't move shit with word salad, fuckers. They're like, Flatzoid, piece of shit, Nathan Oakley, motherfuckers. I hope you fucking rot in hell, cause up and down. Or, oh shit, down, you motherfucker. I hope you die, cause the fucking earth don't move. It's like, dude, nobody's retarded, man. Let's open up the dialogue. Alright, I'm gonna dial it down a notch. Anti-flat earthers, pay attention, this is your model. I'm going over this information again for anti-flat earthers who are trying to conflate Newtonian gravity with general relativity. So you cannot hold both of these to be true. They are fundamentally incompatible. The math is irrelevant. They are damn near polar opposites. So please listen carefully. You cannot hold both views to be true.
In Newtonian physics, gravitational attraction and gravity are one and the same thing. Masses are the source of a gravitational force, gravity, which thereby causes gravitational attraction. In general relativity, however, gravitational attraction is only an apparent phenomenon. It's fake.
In standard Newtonian physics, we draw your weight force, the force of gravity pushing you down, and the normal force from the floor pushing you up. We say these forces are equal and opposite, so there's no net force on you, so you are not accelerating. But in general relativity, gravity is not a force. You have no weight, so the only force on you are these normal forces pushing you up. So you are accelerating upwards, but I'm not moving up. Relative to what? I mean, relative to the flip chart and the floor and basically everything in this room. But all of those things are in your frame of reference, which you know is not inertial.
Isaac Newton described it as a force, but today we say that when something falls and accelerates, no force is making it do that. Even more counterintuitive, the acceleration of gravity is actually upward. It's not downward.
Do you hear that, Globers? This is your current model, whether you like it or not. Okay, and I'm going to give plenty other examples of how your current physics has the ground accelerating upwards, quite literally. You cannot hold to both Einsteinian and Newtonian gravity because they are opposites. One of them is a downward force. The other one is quite literally an upward force. When I'm debating anti-flat earthers, they like to add prefixes to terms thinking that that changes them, like normal force or proper acceleration or specific gravity. That still means force. That still means acceleration. All you're doing is tricking your own mind and regurgitating excuses you've heard. So before we move forward in this discussion, you need to choose a model. Is the force upward or downward? You cannot have both. I'm not referring to the math. I'm referring to the reality of it.
Einstein realized that rather than gravity being a force acting at a distance that accelerates freely moving objects downward, we have to say that instead, gravity puts us in a non-inertial accelerated reference frame. And we have to say that the surface is what's being accelerated upward. So, when you were sitting in a chair, you were quite literally being accelerated upward. quite literally being accelerated upward. Similarly, when we're standing on the Earth, the ground is pushing us up with a real force. And if that force is removed, our body goes from being accelerated to moving inertially. And then in that now inertial reference frame, we see the Earth accelerating upwards. Any deviation from inertial motion is a real acceleration. And real acceleration requires a real force. And real acceleration requires a real force. In fact, when you step on a scale, you aren't directly measuring your mass. You're measuring the force.
You're probably most accustomed to experiencing gravity here in your day-to-day life. It might shock you to learn then that, according to the theory of general relativity, at the surface of the Earth, there is no gravity. None whatsoever. The reason the apple falls to the Earth is due to the fact that you, the observer, are accelerating upwards through space at 9.8 meters per second squared. There is no gravity there. It's just an accelerated frame of reference. According to general relativity, you and the ground beneath you are literally rushing up to meet the apple, as well as towards anything else that might happen to be falling at that moment. Literally rushing up. And that is the true cause of apparent gravitational attraction. The fact that you're accelerating when you believed yourself to be stationary.
This situation feels exactly the same as being at rest on the surface of Earth. Because we are at rest on the surface of Earth. Now I want to ask you, are you watching this video in an inertial frame of reference? Well, I mean, do you feel weightless? No. So you are not an inertial observer. Your situation is exactly the same as someone accelerating on a rocket ship in deep space. And let me be clear, I don't mean that being at rest in a gravitational field is like accelerating in a rocket. I mean it is the exact same thing. You are accelerating and there is no gravitational field. Gravitational fields do not exist. Now, gravitational fields do not exist.
So again, to have a fair discussion, you've got to choose your reality. And I'm not talking about the mathematics. I'm talking about the forces in reality. If you choose relativity, there's no gravitational field. There's no force of gravity. The acceleration is up. The force is up. And the acceleration is apparent. So this means that the inertial or non-moving frame of reference, which basically means the frame of reference where objects feel no pressure, is the free-falling frame of reference. Now, if you choose Newtonian gravity, which is 100 years out of date, you've got a whole new set of questions and a whole nother set of problems to answer. You've got a force pulling things down, and then you've got an equal and opposite force of the ground pushing up on them objects. So now you've got an inertial frame of reference on the ground. So you've got to be able to demonstrate that downwards acceleration and demonstrate that inertial frame of reference. And you've got to be able to demonstrate an instantaneously acting gravitational field. So if all of them haven't been debunked already, then why did they even switch to general relativity? Ask yourself that, Globers. You think it's just because of a 100-year 2 arc-second change in Mercury's orbit? Come on, get real. So this part's for the flat earthers. So Globers, you can hang up. Flat earthers, we don't need to explain our reality to them until they get their story straight. They have been conflating Newtonian gravity with general relativity when I've demonstrated they are fundamentally opposite. You've got one as an upward force and the other as a downward force. We've not only let them conflate the two, but literally gaslight us with the mathematics of Newtonian gravity. If you enjoy my content and you got it like that and you want to help buy me some time to make more of it, or if you just want to help support, There's two ways to do so on screen. Thank you for watching.